Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm going to be reacting to How Much Money is Enough? Acharya Prashant. Question: How do I know whether and when I have achieved enough money and possession? Probably a point comes after which it is not much use to accumulate money. How do I know when that point arrives? I remember saying some time ago that you can never earn enough money. Let me rephrase the quote. People who earn money will probably say that they haven't earned enough. It's like even if you make $1 million a year, you still need to keep earning. There are going to be people out there that's like that. They're just going to accumulate money because they're just maybe they're fearful of something that they want to have a backup of it just in case. And how do I know whether I have achieved enough money and possessions? There is a kind of a like a logical answer to this, and usually the financial people on YouTube will say you need at least 6 months of emergency money, meaning that 6 months must pay your rent, pay your bills, pay your food, and that's about it. That means no good stuff, no happy stuff, no go out drinking, go out and dining and all that. Essentially, 6 months worth of rent, your bills. That means your your car bill, your gas money, your electric bill. You should know how much about every month you pay in your bills so that you can have about 6 months worth. Let's say 3 to 6 months, but of course you want to go 6 months. and there's also again a financial guru, financial people who say this is how much money you need to retire. But of course, this is not necessarily the kind of logical. I don't want to say logical, but this is not a like asking like a person of finance about how much is too much or how much do you have to have enough. It's a little bit of a different point. It is slightly that, but I have a feeling it's going to be a bit different. All this money and possessions is not essentially it's going to come down to all this money and possessions you have. It's not going to make you happy. But obviously, you shouldn't just ignore it either because you need well money to survive. Obviously, to pay bills. Possessions is a bit of a different story. Now, obviously, you need a stove, a refrigerator. Those are possessions, but things that you need. They're not like I don't know, 50 different cars or 50 different motorcycles or 50 different clothes. Those possessions are not quite necessary. Maybe you do need a car, maybe you do need some set of clothes, but like 50 may be a bit much. But let's go and get started.
So the sensitivity is the way. You do not consume something, you do not do anything for the sake of consumption, for the sake of just doing that thing, right? We do things so that we may get something from the doing, but we forget that. Why are you in the campus? Not just to while away time. You are here so that you may productively gain something, right? Why do you visit a place? Why do you buy something? Why do you invest yourself in a relationship? Hmm? Obviously, the aim has to be to attain something that is valuable and lasts. Though that aim is often forgotten, we start thinking that things are ends in themselves. And when things become ends in themselves, then you can accumulate things no end without ever bothering to inquire whether the accumulation, the so called progress, the series of experiences is actually delivering you something or not. Hmm? So you just have to be careful. I just did this. It has to become a habit. Self observation has to become a cultivated habit. That's how it begins. I know cultivation and habit, both these words do not sit very well with spirituality. But there is no other way. You have to cultivate it. Practice is the way, abhyas. And then one starts getting a glimpse of love, and from that point onwards it starts becoming easier. Hmm? Because now you do not really need to forcefully discipline yourself to practice, then you do it because you find love in it. You have to practice that sensitivity. You have to practice asking yourself the question, what am I getting from it? Does that amount to selfishness? Obviously. To be spiritual is to be sublimely selfish, and it is great to be selfish.
I like the fact that he said that, saying sublimely selfish. It's great to be selfish. That is something that Sadhguru says too. As a matter of fact, in the last video that I reacted of his, which was like a five-parter, and talking about how, but it's selfish in a different way though. And obviously, he is stretching out the word selfish quite a lot, and talking about how what you want for yourself, you should want for everyone as well. But yes, in order to achieve certain things for yourself, to better yourself, obviously you're going to have to be selfish. But the thing about being selfish, though, is that so long as you're not doing it, so long as what you're doing that's selfish doesn't harm other people, I think it's okay. Again, you working very hard in work and going up the corporate ladder sounds terrible, but it's a selfish thing. But you're putting in the hard work and you're doing your job, justice. So people cannot blame you for working hard. People can say you're like brown nosing or something like the ever famous phrase. But hey, look, you put in the you put in the work. You earned it. I don't like. I hope people who watch this channel never ever say they deserve something. I hope no one ever says they deserve something. Just because you put in the hard work doesn't mean you deserve something. Doesn't mean you deserve getting whatever you put hard work in. And I think if you have that mindset, I think you'll be better off. And I think what people should say, which I want to put on my members only video, but I'll say it here too, because again, I haven't started it yet anyway. I don't know if I'll ever will, but I think if you have a mindset that when you do get it, say that you earned it, not that you deserved it. Means there's more of appreciation of getting whatever that is, and the fact that you see that you put in the hard work and that you have earned it because you have received it. And don't say that you put in the hard work and that you earned it and you haven't gotten it yet, because maybe someone else put in some hard work too, maybe more than you and better than you, and they've earned it even though you thought you earned it. You've earned it. So I think that the mindset of deserving something or entitled to something is detrimental, and it's something that's I'm seeing a lot in the United States. They feel like they've done something, so they've deserved it. Not that they earned it. Even sometimes they say they earned it, but they go with the earned with the deserve. It's not that they earned it because they've gotten it. And what I mean by that is because they do something, therefore they earned it in the sense that they deserve it. And the reason why the earn turns to a deserve is because when you earn something, that means you've gotten it. Like I've earned this achievement. It's a battery. But I've earned it because I have it. Not that the achievement right there, I've earned that. It's not mine yet, but I've earned it. That means you deserve it. So I hope people have this mindset. I think your life will be a lot better. And I'm sure there are people out there who feel like they've been screwed out of their whatever they've believed they've earned. And maybe that has happened. But come to realize this, that maybe whatever it is, maybe there is biases against you, but if you do realize that, then it might be a good opportunity to move on to a different, whatever it may be, a different job, if that's the case.
We are all born deficient, we are born sick. It is our responsibility to selfishly think how to heal ourselves, how to liberate ourselves from the bondages we are encumbered with. You know? So everything that you do must be in the shadow of this question. What is it for? My time is limited. What did I do it for? Again, this does not go well with traditional spirituality that says that life has to be purposeless and that you must not seek meaning or returns from everything. You must.
Well, I'll say this though. So I think it's really weird to say life is purposeless because I believe in you create the purpose in life. Again, this is a materialistic kind of point of view, but I still believe in it. That doesn't necessarily mean that having a purpose is necessarily a bad thing. Purpose can, well, in a materialistic sense, can give you happiness, but the problem is, in terms of the spiritual, that it's a temporary happiness. But in my point of view, that's fine. Why? Because as long as you're not suffering from it, then it doesn't harm you, which is the whole point of, I guess, of being, I don't say spiritual, but of what Advaita Vedanta is trying to teach you. Is essentially is to be blissed out or to not suffer from life in a sense. So if you're finding many purposes, if you're finding many joys in life and you understand this is all temporary and that you do not suffer from attempting these things, then I think you're doing pretty good. So, for example, when I try to do something and I fail at it, I don't suffer from the failure because I look at that as I am not good enough. What can I do to be better? It's like, there's nothing I can do better. I just suck at this. I better not do that again. Or, I guess I can only put in my hobby. In my hobby, I don't always win all the time. But that makes me think of different ways to try to win, different strategies, different strategies to be just extremely vague as possible. Just different strategies to win. And when I do my hobby, I try to play many different people so I can get an idea of how well my strategies work and how to incorporate strategies against the different kinds of varieties of enemies to find a good strategy that works for most of them. So I look at failures, well, I enjoy the hobby, and I look at failures as opportunity to grow. I don't look at it as a per se failure to suffer. I look at it as a failure to grow. A failure so that I can grow.
Purposelessness, etc., are stuff that must happen only at the absolute end. Where we all usually stand, life must be very purposeful. And questions must be pointedly asked. I spent this evening a full 3.5 hours doing this. Am I getting something really? If not, what impedes my choice to get up and walk away? Right in the middle of a movie, why can't we ask ourselves? The ticket is already bought, the money is gone, it's a sunk cost. Am I getting something? If not, why must I not walk away? This walking away, this dropping, this letting go, this renunciation is at the core of all spirituality. Drop, drop, drop. Ruthlessly learn to give up what has no use. And when we say use, there is only one definition. That which elevates your consciousness is useful. We are not talking of material ingratiation. That is not the definition of use. The sense in which I am using the word use here is not the sense in which you use a pressure cooker or a toothbrush. When I am saying something is useful to you, what I mean is that that something is a resource a means, a method to help raise your consciousness. Keep asking this question. Anything that comes to you, hold this question in front of that. Of what good are you? Are you here to titillate me, to offer me some superficial kind of pleasure? What are you in my life for? And parallel to this runs the question, what am I in this life for? What I am on this planet for? What I am in this body for? Hmm? That constant thread of tension must run within, uninterrupted, unbroken. Rest and relaxation do not behove a prisoner. When you are in shackles, you must constantly be attentive to liberation. You cannot say, I'm having fun here. I'm here to enjoy. You are in a damn prison. What do you mean by enjoyment?
That is interesting. I don't see why you can't enjoy it. Very interesting. I mean, I guess this is how I would think about it. It's like if you're in prison, why not try to enjoy it? I mean, it's weird to say that for sure, but you could either suffer prison or you can enjoy prison. It's, I mean, that's, or you can just have content in prison, also. But to suffer prison, you're just making it worse. So you can enjoy it if possible. You can be content with it if possible. But if you're going to be suffering in prison, that's the worst. I guess that's the statement I would say. Again, something that Sadhguru also kind of talks about, where how you control your body. Do you want your body to be blissed out? Do you want your body to be suffering? You have absolute control over your body, and you get to choose how you want that body to be. And again, I haven't before they just started constantly blocking Osho videos. I remember Osho. I I don't know exactly where he stands, but it seems to be along the lines of enjoyment as well, enjoying life as it is. Um, it's been a very long time since I reacted to his videos, but I do remember that it's something I thought was kind of weird. It's like, why is it pleasure, pleasure, pleasure with him? But the thing is, it's about why would you choose to suffer? Why not pleasure? Now, mind you, pleasure doesn't necessarily mean using or doing something. Just merely sitting and looking at the ocean can be very pleasurable. Enjoying the the breeze. Woo! A good breeze. That is amazing. I absolutely love a nice cool breeze. That's why I like fans, I guess. But you get what I'm saying. So, in prison, why suffer? Why not try to enjoy it, or at least be content in it? If you're suffering twice, I believe.
If I could ask about something else, the discussion around selfishness that we had, kind of reminded me that we should probably be talking about care also, um, because the way I understood you're talking about selfishness is to put oneself first. It's not that. Okay, so if I understand,
The definition of selfishness is knowing the self is selfishness.
okay, but putting oneself first is an act. Isn't it an act?
Which self first? There are two selves. The self that is impure and currently exists, the other self that is pure and possible but fleeting to the current self. Which
Hmm.
self? When you say oneself, which of the two are you pointing at?
That's why we have two names for it. Because, again, to be fair with the person that's talking, when you say self, you're not distinguishing between I guess, the fleeting self and the one that's about to take over self. And I guess that's the reason why, in some of his videos, he talks about the mind in a way that seems to be the consciousness as opposed to the mind. So I'm wondering, in that case, was he talking about the consciousness as opposed to the mind? Which I think he was. It's just, yeah, when he gives a lot of information, I have to kind of have to understand it that way, because otherwise, the mind is one and the same. You're just speaking about it in different terms. So I guess that's. I hope he says Atman, Atman, and then the or the ego. Yeah, Atman and the ego.
I don't know. I'm pointing to the impure self.
So that
What if it's pure for me?
it is pure for the impure thing. And the impure thing, in its deep heart, does not want to stay impure. What you have come to is a very beautiful psychological point. It might be impure, but what if I have no problems with it? What if impure itself is pure to me? The answer is impure might be pure to your conditioning. It cannot be pure to you. It is not your nature to stay impure. Something within will keep objecting, will keep remaining disturbed and dissatisfied.
Mm.
If you
Sounds like it's saying that there's a craving inside to be pure, and when you believe yourself to be pure, you will no longer have that craving, this unsatisfaction, this irritation within you. Like, oh, he says dissatisfied. Yeah, there's this thing that's itching in the back of your mind, that's saying there's something wrong. And when you have that notion, that feeling, that thought, whatever that may be, back there, then you are not pure. You're still impure. There's this thing that you don't know what it is, but your mind knows, or yourself. Which self? Yourself knows it's impure, that you need to figure out.
stay adjusted to the impure.
Mm.
On the surface, your life will appear all right, adjusted, normal, even happy. Within, there will be turbulence.
But who decides this? Like,
Only
if it
you.
doesn't happen,
Only you.
okay.
Only you. It is purely subjective. If it is not happening to you, then you are blessed. If, in spite of impurity being present, there is no repulsion within, no dissatisfaction or rebellion within, then you are blessed.
Okay, just to
So essentially, what I'm getting from that is the fact that it almost seems like, in terms of Advaita Vedanta, it's the sheer fact that your true self is pure, unaffected by the body and mind. Your body and mind will always be unpure. It can never be pure, because there's always thought, bad, good thoughts going in there, temporary thoughts. Your body's temporary, your mind's temporary, your thoughts are temporary, so it can never be pure. You are always pure. And when you figure out that you are pure in the in the face of impurity, then perhaps you're enlightened, maybe, because obviously, Sri Ramakrishna, I believe, if I remember my stories correctly, he had throat cancer, and is it him? I believe so. Call me out if I'm wrong. But anyways, if I'm wrong, but at least you understand who I'm talking about. I believe he was considered to be enlightened. He was pure in his impure body, as though they're like toxics or something in it. No, it's just that these are all temporary, as in it's not permanent. So it's impure in the sense that it's not complete, I suppose. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. That this body is temporary. The mind, the Atman is permanent, and permanent purity, impermanence, impurity.
one more thing. So would that be kind of being honest to myself, or would that be ignorance?
Ooh.
Obviously, ignorance, and therefore, ignorance is bliss.
Okay, where it's folly to be wise.
It extracts a cost. Wisdom is not so cheap.
Mhm.
It's It's economical to stay in ignorance.
The cheap way to get wisdom is by observation and watching other people and learn from their mistakes. That's the cheap wisdom. It's a good one. It's not cheap as in like it's malfunctioning or not proper. If you watch someone and they trip there, you watch another person, they trip there, it's like, well, something's going on there. That's wisdom right there. You walk over there and you trip there, then clearly you didn't get enough wisdom from it. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. Obviously, even if you watch people, you can still make the same mistake. I guess the first-hand experience of wisdom is hopefully a very very good lesson, because you tend not to make the same mistake twice, especially if they are costly and harmful. Because you don't want to lose another finger, or don't want to lose a lot of money and have to keep constantly working all the time. There are certain wisdoms which you keep. I want to say them wisdoms, but there's certain things that you keep falling for over and over again because it hasn't really stuck to your mind because the cost or the harm wasn't that much. Like you constantly stubbing your toe at night when you have to go use the restroom. And he's like, I'm going to move that eventually. Maybe in the 23rd time I stub my toe, I might move it then. Right now I'm in the 42nd one. I've been past the 23rd for a long time. But anyways, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Very interesting. I don't know if he per se answered the question. It is kind of a hard question to answer. I mean, I'm sure he did, but it's obviously not a hard. It's like, oh, you need $2 million. It's not like that. It's how do I say? It's kind of hard to say this is the amount of money you need. There are people out there who are financial gurus that can give you an idea of what you need. It's very easy to kind of calculate if you have an understanding of your monthly costs, in terms of things that are of course vital that you need. You can figure out how much you need in terms of money. But in terms of say happy and successful, that's a completely different story. Which I think this question asks in terms of money and items, essentially possessions. But I think you can have a lot of money and a lot of possessions and still be very unhappy in life. So I think the person that asked this question, it's not necessarily wrong in the question being asked, but they're gonna find their life lacking if this is their number one goal. You should have money, of course, but the main thing is what will make you happy. Because there's no point in having all this money and no one to share it with. You're all by yourself, alone. No one cares for you. When you become an old age, what's all that money gonna do for you? Nothing. So obviously you should have enough money, and if you have great friends and a lot of money, you are doing very good. Anyways, that's my reaction to how much money is enough. Acharya Prashant. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, the sign down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.